In today's video, we will talk about Surat's development since its last proposed land use map of 2004 up until today's date and its role in shaping the proposal of new development plan of 2035 with respect to its predicted potential growth. If we understand the spatial extension of Suda, the areas of SMC, which was around 55.7 square kilometers in 1978, grew up to 112 square kilometers in 1994 to further 326.52 square kilometers in 2006, which itself is around 715 square kilometers. Surat has recently finalized its proposal for Development Plan 2035, where nearly 850 hectares of land would be available for development. Let's start from understanding its last development plan of 2004. In this map, the bold red line marks the Surat Municipal Corporation's boundary. The blue line marks the boundary of SUDA, that is Surat's Urban Development Authority's line. Further, in the land use map, green line marks the boundary of roads and blue shows the river. The color yellow depicts the existing and proposed residential spread. Blue depicts commercial land use and shades of purple shows different categories of industries, while the shades of green shows different categories of recreational areas and open spaces, and brown is used to indicate public purpose buildings. Similarly, other colors are used to denote different type of land uses all across the city. Let's understand each of these individually. The dominant use of city's land use is residential, which marks around 55% of total urbanized areas. As seen from the map, most of this residential development lies within the municipal corporation's boundary. The fastest developing areas in the city are in the southern and northeastern part of the cities with the planned and unplanned colonies. Moving on to the commercial land use, Surat is one of the major trade and manufacturing centers in the country. The concentration of commercial activity is predominantly within the walled city, but it being a densely populated area, parking is always an issue. Other commercial activities are unevenly spread all across the city. Although the existing industries lies all along the spine of the city, but now most of them are establishing themselves towards the side, leading it to be 7 times more than the commercial development in the city. Now let's look at the land use proposed in 2004 compared to its execution in 2014. As seen, the residential areas have developed a little under 50% of its original proposal, while the commercial has developed up to almost 50% of the proposed urbanized areas, whereas the industries showed prominent growth of around 75% of the developed areas. Education and recreational areas were the least developed, with both of them being around 20% of the proposed development, whereas roads and transportation and communication were the maximum developed, around 85% of total proposed areas of urbanized land. Now, while urbanized land has developed around a little over 50%, non-urbanized areas have developed almost double than the proposed land. Now let's look at the proposed development plan of 2035. The legends are provided to understand which color belongs to which particular land use. For now, let's compare the existing plan of 2004 with that of proposed plan of 2035. As evidently seen, there are fair amount of planning changes with additions and reshifting of different typology of land use and introduction of many new development such as metro line, dream city, logistic parks, transit hub, industrial growth corridor, riverfront development and many more. Seeing it statistically, we see that except agricultural and non-urbanized areas, all other kinds of land use have increased notably in 2035 as compared to that of 2004. Now, let's understand the development plan in detail, discussing the major land uses of the city and analyze each of them individually. Starting with residential, the map shows existing housing marked in yellow color and proposed residential marked in the lighter shade of yellow, along with SEWS housing that are marked in orange as seen. The major existing residential areas lie within the municipal corporation's boundary and it's spread across southwestern and eastern side of the city, while the proposal spreads across its periphery outside its existing boundary. Also, independent nuclei that are scattered across the city have now additional village areas and are expanded to develop into proper colonies. There are small patches of land reserved to develop into residential colonies in further future use. Also, from the existing land use map of 2004, 204 square kilometer of area was proposed for residential, out of which only 102.49 square kilometers was developed, and out of those 18.5 square kilometers was developed outside the zone boundary, meaning in unurbanized areas. As seen from the map, a small piece of land is provided to commercial land use that are unevenly distributed across the city. A logistic park has also been proposed in the southern part of the city along with pieces of land reserved for commercial development. Moving on to the industrial development, as seen from the map, industries in the core of the city that are marked under industrial shifting zone. That means these industries are going to be shifted outside the city with other land proposed specifically for industrial development. The industries are going to see a major boost in the city. As seen, major chunks of land are provided for general to obnoxious industries, and even GIDC reservations are proposed majorly are lying on the periphery of the city, away from the residential area and the core of the city. And an industrial growth corridor is also proposed in the northeast quadrant of the city to connect Hazira and other major industrial zones directly to the outside of city without disturbing the internal core. The circular bar graph shows the number of established industries in the city, where diamond industries are maximum in number with 3,500 established industries, and textile engineering being the least, only with 4 in number. Some of the other major industries in the city are cement, textile, silk, synthetic, and fabric. Out of all the industries, only 1% of industry lies outside the SMC, that is Surat Municipal Corporation's boundary. Also, the industrial land use proposed in 2004 plan was around 31.1 square kilometer, but it has developed up to 38.89 square kilometers, out of which only 11.21 square kilometers is outside the proposed industrial zone and can be considered as a spillover. Out of these enterprises that lays outside the SMC limits in the Suda, 44% lies in Olpad area, 40% lies in Palsana, 13% lies in Kamraj, and 3% of those lies in Chaurasi. Now, the last graph shows the investment to employment ratio, with textile industry having maximum employment with respect to its investment. Moving on to the recreational and public purpose buildings, as evident, there are considerable number of public purpose buildings to be developed across the city, especially within the SMC boundary. A few areas are also reserved for future public purpose buildings. Few scattered development in small patches in the old Suda boundary are also to be marked as open areas and reservation for open areas. If we compare zone-wise, Southwest Zone has maximum parks and garden spaces that are available per square kilometer per population of 100 according to the existing development plan of 2004. And it has also maximum percentage of parks and gardens in SMC, that is around 50% of the total proposed area. The city is also going to witness a boost in the transit development along the vast road networks developed for Suda boundary. And most prominently, a 120-meter wide ring road is proposed, enveloping the entire city. Logistic Park has also been proposed in the southwest part of the city as mentioned earlier. Understanding the population growth and density chronologically might help us understand to predict the future growth patterns. As seen in the map, the density of the population roughly keeps increasing as we move from periphery to the core of the city. Many different government and non-government bodies have predicted different rise in the population of the city. On an average, the population will rise from 19,23,000 in 2031 up to 1,28 lakhs by the year of 2041. Moving on to the demographic analysis of Suda region, excluding the SMC boundary, Olpad has seen the maximum growth in population in new added villages, whereas Chaurasi has seen the maximum population compared to the old villages. Understanding the housing shortfall zone-wise, it is evident from the graph that each zone according to the census of 2011 has maximum population and maximum number of total housing. Also, it has maximum shortfall, while the southwest zone has the least population of the entire city and the least number of housing, still has a considerable shortfall. After comparing the chronological analysis of population, housing available versus housing shortfall, it is predicted that even with an expected 1,10,33,000 houses available, we would still be running short by 1,23,985 houses by 2035. So to sum it up, Surat is going to see a huge boost in all of its land use sectors, be it residential, commercial, industrial, and even smaller sectors like education and recreation. The governing authorities of the city have already studied the patterns of the growth through last few decades and have come up with a development plan to cater the future predicted growth with all the infrastructural necessities. These growth patterns are enough to understand that the city is going to see a major infrastructural boost in coming few decades. In the next video, we will see the character and typology of development in different areas of the city and understand the factors that are governing the development and characteristic in these areas.